Welcome, everyone. Let's just take a moment. Picture your web browser right now.
Mm.
How many tabs do you actually have open? Or maybe look over at your desk. That pile of books, articles, notes you've been meaning to get to.
Yeah,
Are you seeing, well, what I sometimes see? A multi-row situation. Maybe a whole library of good intentions.
that's a good way to put it. A library of good intentions, but it feels like more than just clutter, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like this quiet hum in the background,
Right.
a subtle pull on your attention somehow.
Exactly. And it's far more than just, disorganization. What's really interesting here is that this isn't just physical stuff. It's a silent drain on your mental energy.
Okay.
Each of those open tabs, every unread article, that stack of books,
Wayne.
well, they represent unmade decisions, right? Lingering commitments.
Uh-huh.
They are, in a way, kind of a museum of past anxieties and maybe future ambitions, all sort of frozen in time.
Wow, a museum frozen in time.
And constantly demanding a piece of your present focus.
That feels so true. Like, I have this article I saved on advanced project management for a vague future project or something.
Right.
And if I close that tab, honestly, it feels like I'm genuinely losing a piece of my brain.
Right.
Like that vital information will just vanish forever.
You've absolutely nailed it there. That feeling, that losing a piece of your brain feeling when you close the tab, it's incredibly common.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and it points to something deeper psychologically. We tend to connect seeing something with it, well, existing and being accessible.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, particularly neurodivergent minds, this idea of object permanence,
Right.
understanding something still exists even when you can't see it, that can be a real challenge.
Interesting.
But even for lots of us, that feeling of out of sight, out of mind when it comes to important info or tasks, it can trigger a really deep-seated fear of loss.
So we just keep it all visible,
Yeah.
even if it's overwhelming.
Exactly. We keep things visible because our brains are wired to be resourceful, to hold on to potential resources. It's almost like our brains, trying to be efficient and prepared, kind of misfire.
Misfire how?
Well, they treat every potential piece of useful information like it's vital, even if it's old or not really relevant anymore.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. So each open tab, every unread article, all those pending items, they're not just sitting there quietly, are they? They're actively doing something.
Precisely. Yes. Each one is an unmade decision, like we said.
Right.
But it also acts like a tiny anchor, pulling you back to the past. And this creates just immense cognitive load.
Cognitive load, okay.
Yeah, imagine your brain is like a high-performance computer.
Okay.
Every open tab, every unread email, every little mental to-do is like an app running in the background.
Right, even if I'm not actively looking at it.
Exactly. Even if you're not actively using it, it's consuming your processing power. It's slowing everything else down. That's cognitive load. It's the mental effort your brain spends just keeping track of things, even passively. And that makes it harder to focus on what's actually important right now.
That computer analogy really lands. So if our brains are constantly bogged down by these unmade decisions, how do we actually break free? How do we get that energy back?
Well, that's the core of it.
Because this is exactly what we want to tackle today. The central idea here is you cannot build a future when you are spending all of your cognitive energy curating a museum of your past.
Couldn't have said it better.
So this deep dive is going to introduce a really structured way to address this. We're calling it the Radical Triage Protocol.
Now, radical might sound a little intense, I know, especially if just thinking about closing everything made your heart rate go up a bit.
Mine did, a little.
Right. But the protocol is actually designed to minimize that immediate fear and really maximize your forward momentum. It's a powerful transformation for your cognitive space, and it comes in 3 distinct steps.
3 steps. Okay, 3 steps sounds manageable. I'm definitely eager to hear the first one.
All right. Step 1 is the 2-minute scan. Simple. I want you to physically or digitally just observe your clutter. Your browser tabs, the files on your desktop, that pile of papers.
Okay.
Set a timer. Exactly 2 minutes.
Next.
During this time, you are not allowed to read anything, engage with it, or organize it. Nothing.
Just
You are simply bearing witness. Acknowledge it. See it for what it is. Let that feeling of overwhelm maybe wash over you for a second, and then just let it pass. You're just taking inventory, a mental snapshot. That's it. 2 minutes.
Just observe, don't engage.
Okay.
That actually sounds surprisingly hard, just not diving in. But I can already see the power in just acknowledging the sheer volume without getting sucked in immediately.
Indeed. It really sets the stage perfectly for the second and really crucial step, the core question.
Okay.
This is where we shift your perspective entirely. Now, importantly, you do not ask this for each individual item,
Oh, okay. Why not?
because that's a trap.
Yeah.
That will pull you right back into the overwhelm, deciding about each little thing. Instead, you ask this one question about the entire collection of clutter, the whole museum. Ready? Ready. Okay. Ask yourself this. Is the energy required to maintain and organize this entire past worth more than the energy I could invest in my future?
Oh, wow. Okay, that completely reframes it.
Right.
It's not about whether one article is valuable or if one book is important down the line. It's the cumulative cost, the collective cost of everything.
Exactly.
And when you put it like that, the answer is almost always, oh no.
It is almost always no. And this question is so powerful because it fundamentally shifts your focus.
Uh-huh.
Instead of focusing on loss aversion, what you might lose if you close that tab or ditch that article, it forces you to confront the huge potential gain in the future.
Right, the energy you get back.
Yes, it helps you bypass that sunk cost fallacy too, where we feel we have to keep going with something just because we already put effort in. This is about reprioritizing where your most valuable resource, your energy, your focus, is actually being spent. It's like an immediate cognitive shortcut past all that overwhelm.
That perspective shift feels key. Really profound. So, okay, once we've had that crucial reevaluation, what's the very next concrete step? How do we actually act on that realization?
Right. Step 3, the single vessel rule.
Single does it. Okay.
So you've asked the question. You likely realize the past isn't worth the ongoing energy cost. You now have permission to release it. But to make it feel safer, less scary, we contain it.
Contain it.
You must choose one single path for all of it. Just one destination.
One path for everything.
Okay.
I admit, I'm already feeling my palms sweat slightly just thinking about it, but okay, I'm listening. What are the options?
Your first option is the void.
The void. Sounds dramatic.
It is. This is the bravest path, honestly, and often the most liberating in the end. You close every single tab.
Every single one.
Everyone. You move every file from your desktop into the recycle bin or trash. You take the entire pile of paper and put it directly into a box to be shredded or recycled. Done.
Right.
You basically trust that anything truly critical will resurface when it's actually needed. It's a pretty radical act of faith in your future self.
Okay, that's, yeah, terrifying for some, I imagine. But for others, probably instantly freeing. What's option B? For those of us, maybe, who need a bit of a safety net.
Option B is the archive. If the void feels like too much, totally understandable. So you create one and only one new container.
One container.
This could be a single bookmark folder in your browser, or a single text document on your computer, or even just one single physical box.
Okay.
And you title it clearly with today's date, something like August 17th archive.
Right.
Then you dump every single link, every file, every piece of paper into that one vessel, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then crucially, you close it. You put it away.
So it's not gone forever, necessarily.
Right. Exactly. It's not gone forever. It's simply no longer in your active workspace. And most importantly, it is no longer consuming your cognitive energy day to day.
It's an archive of old commitments, yeah. Collection of unfinished business kind of put to rest.
Put to rest. That's a great way to think about it.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's not about complete erasure if that feels too hard, but it's about containment
Yeah.
and disengagement. So stepping back, what does this transformation really mean for us, for the listeners, once we've, gone through this protocol?
What this protocol really does at its heart is grant you permission.
Permission.
Yeah, permission to declare essentially informational bankruptcy on the past.
Informational bankruptcy. I like that.
Permission to stop paying that constant energy tax on 1,000 open loops in your head, because you really cannot re-optimize your energy until you stop those leaks. Your past is literally leaking into your present, energetically speaking.
Wow. So it's like a manual override then, a way to consciously stop those leaks and re-optimize our energy.
Exactly. Think of it like installing a self-cleaning browser for your mind.
Oh, I need one of those.
Or maybe a cognitive operating system upgrade. Something designed to help you focus only on what is essential for the now and for the immediate next step. This isn't really about becoming perfectly organized overnight. It's about freeing up your mental bandwidth.
Right, freeing up that energy. So thinking about that freed up energy, here's a question for you listening. What new opportunities, what new ideas or actions could you actually pursue if all the energy that's currently tied up in maintaining your museum of past decisions was suddenly available, freed up for your future?
That's a powerful question.
Just think about that for a moment. What could you actually focus on? We really encourage you to maybe consider one small step you could take from this protocol today.
Yeah, even a tiny one.
Maybe just do the 2-minute scan. Just bear witness to your clutter. Or even, as a final thought, maybe just go close some tabs right now.
Yeah, just a few.
Free your energy from the past. It really is needed for your future.